Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and I got a couple more Funko Pops I want to show you. This is from the recently released Peanuts line. And of course that means Charlie Brown and Lucy and Snoopy and Woodstock, and I got a couple of these guys. I went to GameStop and I took part of their buy three, get one free deal, and I decided, hey, I like Peanuts, I like Charlie Brown, why not give these guys a shot? And it's also one of those things that really makes me think that why Funko Pops are so popular, because when you have lines like Peanuts, which is something that is timeless, you know, my parents, well into their 50s, they know Charlie Brown. They grew up watching the specials and they replay those specials every year, so that it's like Scooby-Doo. All generations can take part of this, and it's really cool they got these Funko Pop figures made from those characters. So here's a look at some of the other characters you can get in this line. It's a pretty decent amount here. Of course, we have Charlie Brown and Snoopy and Woodstock, which what I think will be two of the most popular Funko Pops to get from this line. But then you also get Linus, and you get Lucy, and you get Sally. So that's really cool. So this is number 48 and 49 in this series. And if you get these from GameStop, you can expect to pay $10.99 for them, which is where I got these from. But of course, these are not GameStop exclusive Funko Pops. You can find them elsewhere. You can look on Amazon, you can look at your local stores, and you will probably get them cheaper. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at both of these. Alright, so here's Snoopy, and everyone likes Snoopy, right? You know, Snoopy is an iconic dog. Everybody wants a Snoopy. And this Funko Pop is smaller than the normal Funko Pops. They usually stand maybe about 3¼ inches tall. Snoopy's a little bit smaller than that. Just really quickly, I am going to throw another Funko Pop in here for comparison. The one closest to me right now is Dovahkiin. So you can kind of just see here how much taller Dovahkiin is over Snoopy. So it's appropriate though, because Snoopy is a dog and he is to scale, you know, with the other with the other characters. So it's not an exact scale, but of course when you have a small dog, you can't really stand him up to someone like Charlie Brown and expect for its head to be the same size or anything like that. So in addition to them making Snoopy smaller, they also try to make the price justified, because he's the same price as every other normal Funko Pop. You're still going to pay between $8 and $10 for him no matter where you go, and that's probably why they decided to also throw in Woodstock as a bit of a bonus. But the problem with good old Woodstock is that Woodstock does not stand up on his own very well, or if at all, and that's just a shame. I do know that some of the Funko Pops these days that can't stand well on their own, either because their heads are too big or their feet are too small, that they tend to come with these plastic bases now. And I looked inside the box and there's no little plastic stand or whatever for Woodstock here. You see there's nothing on the bottom of his foot, so you can't slide any pegs in. And even if I try to stand him up, you know, he just immediately topples over. So if you wanted to display him next to Snoopy, perhaps the best thing that you can do is maybe try to lean him up against Snoopy, you know, and I'll try to do that, and it's just not quite working out on camera. Maybe something like that, and if you don't move it, then maybe you'll be able to get away with it. But as I kind of just start to rotate this around, and I'm hoping that Woodstock does not fall. Just as far as the paint goes, Snoopy does not have the best paint job, at least mine doesn't. You can probably see here Snoopy's, the white is a bit dirty, and the black does have some remnants of that white sort of bleeding off into it. And I looked at several different Snoopys inside the GameStop, you know, because every time I would look at one, I would go, oh, that doesn't look quite clean, oh, that doesn't look quite right, oh, maybe that can be done better. And I thought this one was one of the better looking ones. So either my eyes were playing tricks on me, or, you know, it just didn't come out as great. Snoopy still is, you know, immediately identifiable based on what he is, but still not the best paint job in the world, and I wish it were better. So yeah, besides that, and the fact that Woodstock doesn't stand up on his own without being propped up in some way, it can be a little bit of a disappointment. But if you want the entire Peanuts line, or if you want the most iconic characters from the Peanuts line, you really don't have a choice but to get Snoopy. And here's Charlie Brown, the man of the hour. And the thing that I want to point out most about Charlie Brown is his hair. He has the weirdest hairstyle from just about any cartoon character I can think of. He's bald, but he isn't, because he always had this weird strand of hair going on the top of his head. And that is not painted on. That's actually part of the mold. You can feel it. It has texture to it. So I really like that. It's the first thing that I noticed upon taking him out of the box, is that molded strand of curly, weird hair. And that's really good. So the outfit, of course, the black and yellow, the zigzag stripes, it's all Charlie Brown. Short sleeve shirt, and check it out, he's also got the other bit of little hair on the back of his head, which is also molded in. It is not painted on. So again, really great stuff. And hey, what more else can I say about this? It works, looks good for the most part, paint's pretty decent. Little bleeding of the black onto the yellow, not that big of a deal. It's fairly simple Funko Pop, because the way that these guys were drawn, they were very simple characters. So you can't expect a lot of complexities and textures and colors and all that stuff, because that's just not what the Peanuts are and were. That's just not how the characters are designed. So for a standard, bare bones Charlie Brown, hey, what can I say? It totally works. And here's just one final look at the entire gang. Well, not the whole gang, but the ones that I got. Snoopy, Woodstock, and Charlie Brown. And as you can see, Charlie Brown stands a little bit taller than Snoopy. Like I said, it's not directly to scale, but since Snoopy is a dog, naturally, he has to be smaller. And it looks good. It looks good when they're paired up there together. And if you had the whole gang lined up next to each other, it can make for a really, really cool scene. I just wish Woodstock, most of all, I wish that Woodstock would stand up better on his own, or at least a place to put Woodstock on Snoopy, maybe on his head, or just something so you don't have to worry about him falling over. So you will have to place Woodstock up against Snoopy or something else, just so it could hold him before he starts to fall. But I like these Funko Pops. Of all the ones that I have, for people who aren't really into this kind of thing, this is what they would recognize, especially if they're older. Younger kids, perhaps not, but older people, they know Charlie Brown, they know Snoopy, and they'll appreciate this. And that's a great thing too, because if a kid out there is interested in something like this and they want to ask their parents, can they get it? So their parents know what this is, they will probably be more inclined to say yes. So there you go. I know I would. So thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I will talk to you later.